Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining another RC Conspiracies. We will begin in just a moment. I need to go grab something that I am prepping for you guys over here. And we'll be right back, all right? So just sit tight, and we'll get this thing going. And anybody that's joining late, I'll go ahead and put a time code in the description of right when we're going to start. So hang tight for 1 second, guys.
Shady silhouetted images and industry teasers are finding their way into our homes and invading our minds. Their calculated information is delivered to feed our addiction for radio-controlled frequencies. It's an RC conspiracy. But we are on your side, cracking the RC code. Because the truth is out there. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast. Get your decoder rings ready and put on those tinfoil hats because your fearless leader is here. Please welcome your host, the lead RC Conspiracist, Tony Cece. Tony Cece. Welcome to the RC Conspiracies podcast.
What is going on, guys? Surprise! We have the new truck. One I've been hinting at for a little while, saying we've got something coming. We can't tell you about it yet, but it's super fun. And what have I said? It's way different. And I really believe it is way different. So There are a couple things like it maybe in kit form, but as an RTR, there really isn't anything like it. This thing is almost as long as my Grand Hauler from front wheel to the very furthest back wheel. So, CEN, you could maybe make a semi truck for us out of this thing. I don't know. Think about it. There is a lot to talk about, and we're going to be talking all about these two guys right over here. Switched them up. Had somebody on Instagram ask me what it looked like with the different bodies on the different wheel sets, and so I thought I'd give it a try. So I'm excited about these trucks. It's way different, like I said, and there's a couple reasons I'm excited. Well, one, my backyard is torn up, so I'm looking for something else to do at the moment until the weather gets cooler and I can rebuild the jumps. But I did go crawling this weekend and met a guy named Josh who said he would also be willing to come and help me rebuild those things. So got a couple of offers. People wanting to be cool and help me out, save me a little money. A lot of you guys in the chat already. 11 Charlie RC is here. Kurtz RC's Airborne RC says, "Aye, Tony." Kevin Gibbs, Lunchbox, Chris Hester, Jeff, Kevin Gibbs. I think I said that already. Sticky's RC, Trail Critter, Swampers. Lots of you guys. Cody's in here. AZ Froggies, Jo. Welcome everybody to the RC Conspiracies. We had been scoping this thing out way back when with SEMA and looking at it and just saying, just look at it because it's different and it's something cool. And I'm always looking for things that are new and cool. And this kind of fit the bill. I wasn't sure what they do with it because so many on-road trucks end up becoming, I don't know, they just don't, they slam them, they do all this stuff to them. And this still kind of goes in that vein, you know, the mall crawler with the thin tires and all that on a dually. You know, you wouldn't really want to be doing too much construction with those wheels on it. But it's still, the way that they've done the ride on it is pretty cool. I'll say that. And it handles pretty well. RC Guy Garage is in the house. Earl Moorhead. Oh, he says he likes the intro again. But this one, guys, I don't know. I just kind of feel like that CEN nailed it with this one. Somebody just said it. They nailed it. Jeff Atlasy said it over there on Facebook. And I agree. I think they nailed it with this one. We'll jump over and take a look at a few things over on the Facebook as well. And it's been a big day. There's several of these floating around. I got 2 of them, although I'm only keeping one of them. Somebody helped me. Jeremy helped me with the videos. And so for his help with me on that, I'm going to let him rock one of these. So I only put the stickers on one. I planned to keep the blue one, and so I stickered mine up, and he can choose whatever he wants to do with his. It looks pretty cool, though, rocking those red rims on the blue ones. Very Americana over here on this screen. The red, white, and blue says America, American Force. It is a pretty cool look, and actually the silver looks pretty good on the gray titanium, they call it. So there's definitely some options going with these things, and we'll get in. I've got some stuff I want to show you guys. I've got some upgrade parts sitting on the corner of the table that are, well, let me just go. Let me grab them. All right. Dunk, 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 dunk. Walking back. Dunk, 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 dunk. All right, I got them. It's a very long, heavy-footed elephant walk. This is the first thing I'm looking at putting in, if it'll focus. These are the HD gears. Come on now. If I go slow. Nope. These are the HD gears. They are part number CKQ0217. And these go in your diff. And they're just the heavy-duty version of the gears. And I want to put brushless power in mine, so I've got 2 sets of these, and I've got 2 of these hard anodized aluminum differential cases. These really help with the flex. The only time I've noticed really that the diff gears go on that is under a lot of power. I think this case expands, so you might even be able to stick with the normal differential gears if you get this case. They're not that expensive. So I got 2 of them. The other option is I've got this locker I was thinking I could put in the rear, but I'm thinking I'm going to go 2-wheel drive and do a little bit of drag racing with it, drag car, try and make it go a little faster. I have a speed test coming for you guys. Actually, I was impressed by it on the high gear and 3S. So there's a 3S version. No, that's not right. Let's take that back. Let's walk that back. There is a 3S version, but there's a high gear and low gear version, 2S and 3S in both gears, to show you what you'd get. You know, some people that just want to tow stuff with it, they might want that low gear in there, the torque, the power. And you put that high gear in and those wheels start spinning. So it's pretty cool. Bruce Jenin, what is going on? Is in the house. RC Goons, are they already sold out? Is the question from RC Goons. They are not even available yet. They are pre-order, and they're waiting on companies. HRP distribution is going to be handling it through hobby shops, all that. Amain should be getting some. They posted some links that are not, says unavailable at this time online, but I'm sure that they're going to start taking some orders on those. And I have a feeling that they're going to start selling out pretty quickly. There's a lot of interest, even more. I thought people would be interested, but I'm like kind of blown away at the interest for it. And that's a good thing. I'm excited that there's that much interest in it because it is different. And I think it opens up a whole new avenue. And the thing with cars, you guys, is for me, it's the amount of them that get out into the marketplace that makes or breaks anything, right? And so if you want to have things start opening up for this, whether people do a pulling class for these, you need to have enough of them out in the market to have a class open up for pulling. If people want to start drag racing these, you got to have enough people with these that say, hey, we want to drag race these. Same with like the Clodbusters, okay? People at some point said, we want to race these monster trucks against each other. And so they've got like the retro racing. Jason Rona said he started doing that in his backyard with his old Tamiyas. It just comes down to this competition aspect. And this being so different, it requires a lot of people to be interested in them because it's an interesting platform. It's very easy to work on and it's kind of cool. So I'm excited about what potential there is for this, and maybe some new tires will come out for it. Maybe more people will make some dualies that you can put on it. If you don't like this particular set of wheels and tires, maybe people will come out with some more stuff for us so we can do some drag racing with them. It's really an interesting thing to think about. So there's questions going on out there about these parts on this. There's a lot of parts that are shared. I'm going to go back over to this. There's a lot of parts on these. Let's actually just jump over to their website. There's a lot of parts on the F-450 that are shared with their monster trucks. The axles are one of those things. So there are already upgrades that you can get for these axles. There are, you know, the aluminum ends that you can get on them. There's the inner parts that we talked about. Hopefully they'll be doing some of the drive line that you can get as upgrades instead of having the cup coming out of the transmission. You get like a CVD style, like straight out of it. So I hope that they'll be doing some of those chaos parts for that. The transmission is the same. However, nice upgrade. They went 32 pitch on the pinion gear and on the slipper, the spur gear on there, which is a big deal, I think, especially if people do want to start putting the power down with these. I might actually look to do that with my monster truck, get the slipper set up from this, and put it onto my monster trucks and go 32P with those because I just like 32P. It's easier to mesh. There's a lot of reasons. So I got my glasses on so I can try and keep up and read what you guys are talking about here. So the monster trucks that I am talking about are these ones here, the B50 and the HL150, and they use that same style of axles and right here, pretty scale axle. And it gives them a lot of adjustability, and that's probably why these axles were built the way they were for the monster trucks. You see them on the whole lineup of monster trucks, and now you're seeing it in these on-road, I don't know, you know, daily driver, construction worker truck. I'm kind of bummed that RC Sparks isn't doing the gold anymore because YouTube Gold, because this would have looked cool having him drive it up and around his construction site. It would have looked so awesome for him to pull up in one of these guys right here. So yeah, people are saying these are officially licensed rims with wheels. Oh, he's saying he wants those officially licensed drift wheels. So you want to drift it. See, everybody wants to do different things with it. And that's what's cool. Cody Vandenberg wants to see a fifth wheel setup for it. Justin Time says he'd love to build a pull track in the dirt. And so I actually just got that RC four-wheel drive puller. And so the pull sled. So now I'm looking at this in a kind of a whole different light. As like, man, this thing could be a cool pull truck. Some weight to the front of it. There's some cool things you could do with it. One of my lights are flashing over there. But yeah. Kevin Gibbs has a question. I'm curious if they'll come out with the trailer hitch kit. There's a little difference in the bumper and frame. So yes, they're supposed to, from what I've heard from CEN, they're working on something, and it kind of attaches where that part is on the rear bumper, but it actually extends it out, and the hitch will then be, or the receiver will then be closer to the bumper. So there is that. Eventually we'll get over there and we'll actually open these up and take a look at them. You guys can ask me what you want about them, and I'll try and answer on the go from my phone over there. Sean's RC Adventure. You sending me the silver one or blue one? I'm not fussy. You can have the first choice. I've only got the blue one left, man. The gray one is going away when I can meet up with Jeremy. 11 Charlie. He says he loves the American Force wheels because they're always supporting the veterans, the guys at American Force. That's awesome to hear. So what can we do with this thing? What would you guys do with this thing? I'm curious about that. There's a lot of stuff that I have done with this thing off camera. My first run video is going to be kind of weird because it's not really going to be a first run for me in many ways, because I've been running this thing hard, and so the footage has been used elsewhere. Just say that. It's been edited down and used elsewhere, not on my channel. But it handles well, and it takes a beating. I've put it off of jumps. I've slammed it into the ground. I've taken it off of big jumps and just tried to kind of bend the frame, and I couldn't do it. And part of it's because of the long body acts as like a shield for it, and the impact, and that big bumper on the front, that foam bumper. So it actually takes quite a beating for people that have asked that. It does. The hard part is watching the body get beat up in the process, because the bodies really are, there's something else. They're so pretty. The paint job that they did with this, even the sticker work, like the front end stickers. I know a lot of people would like to see hard plastic and different things up there, which would make it not be able to take some of the hits that it did take. But they did a really good job with those decals on the front. The windows, they don't play super well on video, but where I'm sitting at them, looking at them with the reflection right now, they actually look pretty realistic as like a tinted window. It doesn't play quite right on video, but it looks pretty cool. Bruce says there's more to come from this platform from CEN. Yeah, one of the things, I don't know if I mentioned or not, is that the body does come apart. It's a two-piece body, so the bed of the truck is actually completely separate and bolted or screwed onto the front cab part of the truck, which is pretty cool. The wheels come off. They reveal a standard 12mm hex, and it's really easy to get in there. You don't have to take out all of the bolts around the wheels. It's just two of the screws. You pop off the cap, and you just take off the hex with a 7mm driver like normal. So it's pretty cool the way that they've got that set up. And yeah. JD Passel would like an orange body. Hey, there's Jeremy. He says that CEN has a major winner with this, and he did help me drive this thing for it. Scale Builders Guild. He'd like to see Sean's RC Adventures would like to see it side by side with the Cross Dually. I would like to see what he would do with something like this in turning it super scale to the next level. And one of the things I really hope to see is I hope to see somebody make window inserts that we can cut out the windows carefully and then stick up a piece of Lexan shoe glued up to the top of the body or whatever and have clear, or you could, I guess, tint the window if you wanted, and then put in interiors inside of that. Because there's a lot of room underneath the chassis or underneath the body between it and the chassis that you could do a lot of scale stuff in there. Kevin Gibbs says, "Send definitely listen to the people on this." Yeah, I think that they did something that they saw a market for that was underserved in the RC world, especially in a ready to run way. And they made a good choice in doing a car that a lot of people would like be drawn to. Now, some people may not have a 450 dually with American Force wheels on it. But they may have a Ford 350 Super Duty, and they might just love that this is close enough and it's in their Ford truck lineup that they would buy it just because of the licensing. And I mean, let's be honest, the Ford front end is just so tough looking. I'm not like a Ford guy or anything, but I love the look of Ford trucks. And yeah, I mean, it just looks really manly to me, and that and the Raptor are just really, really cool looking. So I would be curious, to see if people would make maybe a fender or something that you could do, and you could remove one of the two wheels, because you could do it. You can remove a wheel if you want, and run it, as a standard 4-tire truck or 4-wheel truck. And you could totally do that. And some people might like that. They could turn it into a service truck, make their own bed for it. I really think that you're going to start seeing people go crazy with these things. And I don't know if you guys have seen the videos on this that are out there yet. We'll scrub through a few of them. Aussie RC Playground just uploaded his. I'm just doing a search here on YouTube, and then I'll bring you guys over to see it. We're on YouTube, looking at YouTube. It's kind of the Matrix, I think. So you've got Big Squid RC. This was a really scale video that Jeremy did. Jeremy Griffith from Big Squid. His backyard park is perfect for this. And he's got really, really scale terrain and buildings and things in here that just make it look super cool. Like here, he's pulling through and past like farm equipment and houses that he's built back there. Just looks perfect in his environment. If you haven't seen this video, I definitely would say check it out. RC Tanks and Trucks, they did a really cinematic video of it as well. Lots of jumping and stuff like I like to do, bashing it off of tree roots. That's at the end of it. Another really good one, showing you what the truck is capable of. And down the line, unboxings. This is the trailer here for it. Chase McNeil, you have not missed anything. And this lets you see both trucks in action and a little bit of my neighborhood and some stuff like that. And yeah, the truck just looks amazing when you're driving it. It just turns your head. It's just fun to watch drive. I think I caught myself looking at it more times than not at just how cool it looked and scale it looked. Alex Pie 123. Do you think anyone will make it into a drag truck? I totally have plans to make a drag truck out of this. The tires, however, are a little slick, and so I'll need to find a way to mount some new tires and fresh treads, or to gum up these tires a little bit so that they will stick a little better to the ground because they are slick, which makes it fun and makes it turn around really fast. But it's definitely a plan that I have. Wobby's Hobbies, what is it? A crawler, racer, or drifter? It's really none of the above. It's really a scale on-road truck, which is different. It would work really well in a lot of the stuff. Hey, this looks like a really great place. I could maybe take my felony to run it. Have some fun with it, maybe. I should check that out sometime. But yeah, a really, really scale on-road truck. That's all I can say. People will be doing some tow rigs with it. I know that. People will be making drift trucks out of it. I will be trying to make a drag truck out of it. And I don't plan to do a tow truck. You could make a scale off-road truck with it if you wanted to put different wheels on, and it's easy enough to do it. So these are 10th scale, but they are very large. And yeah, you'll see some people doing pulling sleds with it. Net Cruiser is saying we might see. He thought we might see it doing a pulling sled. I think that I'm going to gear it kind of the same way, and it's whether or not I take up the front drive shaft, so it's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. So Alex, it won't really do wheelies probably because of the length of it. It would be really hard to make it do wheelies. So you can take it a little bit off road. AZ Froggies, that would be interesting to try it with some of the Tamiya semi tires. They'd be a little small on it, but we could look at it. So you can do some off-roading with it. You could change it. It's got it does have sway bars on it, and so you could take them off for more articulation. Then you get a little bit of body roll with it, and a torque twist on acceleration if you were doing speed with it. So you kind of have to choose. There's a lot of different choices of what you could do with it, and that's what I think is fun. Is people will all do different things with it. Earl Moorhead saying a 5th wheel trailer attachment. I could definitely see that happening. You would probably need to run supports across from where the body mounts are and down in some way to brace it so that it would actually sit on the body posts underneath the body, and that would carry some of the weight, and that wouldn't be too hard to do. So they run $370. And yeah, let's get over there. I'm going to turn on the other microphone. And we'll go over and we'll just start looking at them a little bit. I need to turn my phone on. Find the chat there. 302 RC. I just saw that Aussie RC Playground had one. I just saw also that... I have a bunch of messages here. I just saw that RC Sparks uploaded a video as well. So I'm going to have to check that out. So there's the Aussie RC Playground one, JTRC, RC Network, and RC Driver. So I don't see. I'll see something from RC Sparks unless I totally missed it somewhere. I just got a message saying he uploaded it something. But I don't see it. I must not have keyworded it right. Do you think Kevin Taubman will get it? I'm not sure. Sparks shouted you out, says Pilot Ryan Media. And Kevin Gibbs. Okay, I'll have to go check it out. I'll have to go check that out for sure. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this mic on, and then we'll go over and we'll take a look at the car. But I definitely am thinking about putting brushless into it. I'm not sure what yet. and I'll have to look again at the diffs. I definitely think I'm going to have to do either the HD set or the locker in the rear. So we'll take a look and see what we can do with that. All right, so there's the other microphone. It's going to be much louder. My apologies. But I'm gonna sign into the chat here, and then I'll walk over there. I just have to let myself in. Come on now. All right, let's move this camera up. Oh, it's hitting my... All right, we're in now. But I need 1 second. You guys get to come with me for a minute. I need to get my earbud. This whole internet's such a interesting thing. I gotta remove myself. There we go. All right. So let's take a look at here. You guys can tell me what you want to see up close, and we'll look at it. That's the nice thing about being live. So here is the blue truck with the red rims. Looks pretty good. I did have it drive away from me today. The controller, if you get too far away, you definitely lose control of the car basically, and it slammed into a curb. Luckily, it's durable. And so here's the gray one with the silver. It looks pretty good, actually. Fog City wants to see how the rear dually wheels hook together. So I have a video coming on this, but I will go ahead and show you guys without completely taking it all the way apart, because that would be annoying. It's a lot of screws to do that, but it doesn't take a lot of screws to remove the wheel. And so that's good the way that they've set this up. So when you look in here, there's two of these that hold this on. And it's not super obvious. It's going to be these two. You can see, I can see the recessed part underneath this screw. Just remove these two screws and this whole cap will come off. Yeah, that was the right ones. Good, I don't look like an idiot. Lying to you guys. All right, come on. There it goes. So just two tabs on this. Right on the sides there, and that's what pulls it off. And a 7mm wrench, or the included one. And a little bit of strength, which I don't apparently have. So I need to find the other tool. You guys get to hear everything I do, every breath. Gosh, stupid. There it is. The problem is that the nuts or the axle sticks out a little bit, and so this wrench, the one bummer about these box wrenches is that they're not very deep. You can see the end, and it hits the axle. I need to drill it out. But once you get it started, it's fine. All right. So there are the two wheels, and they're just like the front wheels. But these extra screws here hold in this hex on the back, or this hub, I guess. And that's how you could potentially just run one wheel, unscrew those. Well, let's just do it. No, let's not. You just unscrew these, take this off and screw them back in, and then pop it in. So that would be the way. Does that answer your question? So yeah, someone's saying the frame rails go on forever. And they do. And they've got a bearing. It's something I didn't point out. I did so many different versions of the look at the truck, and there are things I liked about certain ones and not others. And the one I chose did not actually point out the bearing that they use in here to carry this drive shaft that just holds it here so you can lengthen it, because this drive shaft is so long from the transmission. But the axle is now a little bit more obvious that it's just standard. You could put whatever wheel you wanted with a 12 millimeter hex on there, and you're good to go. These are the sway bars, a little bit easier to see now. And there's just a little bar that's in here that you can actually take out. And you can change the stiffness of it. So if you wanted to have different stiffness for your sway bars, you just loosen this grub screw at the end here, and this screw, and then you have to get a little bite on that somehow, and you can pull it out. If not, you can just pull it this way. It's falling out now. That's not the ideal way to do it, but that's what also holds this on. So if you lose it, then you got a sway bar that's all over the place. But you could put anything in there. You could cut different things that would fit in here and slide it through the hole that they provide, and then lock it in. So pretty cool. Easy way to make adjustments and fine-tune this sway system. So tighten it down here nice and tight. I did have one of them missing on mine, like Amain had, and so they've been alerted to that issue, and when they assemble them, there's going to be probably a directive to double check them. I know that CEN is very particular about how their products come off the line, which is good. All right. And they wanted to address the issue. All right, so that's tight. I'm going to use this one just to make sure it's all the way tight so I can't. Yeah, it's in there good. So that's it. All right, any other questions? When will they be available? Because I want one, says Frankie P. They will be available October or November. So look at this. One of my favorite features. You know what? I don't want to run a 3S pack. I would much rather use a 2S pack. Oh, would you now? You would? Yes, I would much rather use a smaller 2S pack. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. Oh, no, we've made clearances and allowances to allow you to do multiple size packs in this vehicle. So if you want to run a 2S pack, you can. Sorry. I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help myself. No Allen key locker required. So yeah, these will be for $369 available. And I ran this on 3S, guys, and it was only 80 some degrees today. It wasn't super hot, but we ran it on 3S with the high gear in the transmission. And what else did we do? Oh, yeah. Check the temps on it. So 3S high speed, and we were running back and forth out on the street, trying to get the temps up. And it never really got too hot. I wouldn't like consistently bash it for like extreme amounts of time like that. I mean, I could tell that it could get warm. And so it's just about being smart. If you do want that extra speed, know to get off it every once in a while and give it a break. But that speed is nice if you're going to do some jumping and things with it, or you just want to do some speed passes, you could totally do it. But you could also just go 2S and gear it up a little bit if you want. So whatever game you're going for, if you have 2S, you could gear it a little higher. .413 is it's tight on the battery tray length. It is. It doesn't do the longer batteries, but I actually wouldn't mind busting out one of these sides on it. Just cut it out. It isn't expandable. The other thing that I would actually look at doing is just doing what Axial and them do, replacing this with like an axial metal plate tray that just sits on here. But I would probably just Dremel out the end on one side if you want to run longer packs. So it is limited that way, that's for sure. The Traxxas one does allow longer packs, just not taller. So the best bet would be to have expandable as well on this. But on these types, these will last for a little while anyway. Like crawlers don't usually run super huge packs. I'm going to take this out anyway. One thing I will be doing is I will on mine bind a new radio to it, which is really easy to get into. This case here, which is sealed nice. It's sealed real nice. But the shocks feel actually pretty good. They're just plastic shocks. They are threaded though, so that's nice. Kurt's RC cut it in half and remount it. Yeah, there's just not a whole ton of screws to mount it into. I guess you could slide these bottom. No, because the links are tied to this one here. So I guess you could cheat off of these two, and move this. I guess, yeah. But it's an option. Let's do the burnout test. These tires are, well, they're kind of getting a little less slick. I'm probably gonna hit them with. They're not hard, but they're kind of slippery in a way. They're not super gummy compound, but I bet you could WD-40 these and get a little bit more grip out of them. Definitely be interesting to see. But I don't know. My thought is, so they put a locker in here. This is going to be one of my question marks when you throw a ton of power in it, how this all takes it. I think this will do all right if I either lock it or I put in the heavy duty diff, and the case I think should be fine. And then I'll just remove this drive shaft for those, the drag stuff if I do it, and let this just kind of be free. That's how simple it is. It's super open to basically kind of move stuff around and do what you want. You could put your own links on if you wanted to lengthen things. It gets a little tricky because you'd have to find dog bones that are the length you want, or kind of find a way to make some. Sean's RC Adventures, wondering if you use a Traxxas lift kit on it. A limo. Somebody could totally make a limousine out of this. That would be awesome. All right, so I want to show you guys this, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my semi. So I need to put down the legs. I have to detach it. So you can see kind of how close we're dealing with here. It's pretty close. I don't know the best way to show it. That'd be the center of the axle. So you're really only going kind of just behind that front axle. It's not nearly as long, but you could extend it and you could make it work. There's possibility for it, I think, because this center bar goes all the way back. So you could totally extend these a little bit out if you wanted to go a little bit longer. So take a look at this one. But I could quickly show you guys how the transmission works if you wanted to see that. It's a pretty easy thing to do as well. What's going on, STL Scion? Yeah, these semis are heavy for sure. This one's not too bad. But I guess the rails on this are, ugh, and that plastic hard body, and with the sound kit and all that in here, it's a heavy beast. All right, put that back away. And you saw my other video, it's much bigger than the infraction, or the, not much bigger, it is bigger than the felony wheelbase. So the car rally truck would be cool. These rims are just plastic for the people asking. They look really good, but they're not. Simple green JMRC is saying for the wheels, for the tires. That's a good idea. Nick Cruiser says threaded shocks are a win no matter if plastic or not. It's the preload clips that suck. Well, I'm going to do this transmission. You guys can watch or not, because I'll hook Jeremy up and do it. It's really simple. Well, it's not simple. It's not too bad though. It's 4 screws off the bottom here. And then it's about 5. And also you have to remove the slipper. So if somebody wants to start a timer, I can show you guys how quickly we can do this live. It ain't bad, that's for sure. And it's you don't have to get any more gears or anything like that. You don't have to change your mesh. All that works the same. I'm just going to kind of work out these drive shafts a little bit. There we go. Transmission is out. Drive shaft is out. We'll take off the cover here because we do have to remove the slipper. And then once we're in here, there's one other screw behind the slipper that we do have to take out. But I'm going to wait to do that at the end. You can try to keep things kind of organized. All right. This one does not have any screws holding the transmission case together. These are pre-distribution models of them that we got. So normally you would have, this is a monster truck one, screws here, here, and up here. So on mine I did. Right now this one's being held together by this center screw and the other one on the other side. And that looks to be it. And I guess these bottom two actually kind of hold that together. So it actually should be all right to not have those extra ones. But they are meant to be there because I just did mine earlier today and they were there. So this will look a little faster than normal because this is going to open this whole case right up. It's like somebody did pre-work for me, so in the live I don't have to do all the extra stuff to take it apart. So that's the gear that we want to flip right there. So we're going to pull out that one. And we're just going to pull them all out because it's easier. This one is the one we're going to flip. There. And we're going to get the bearing for it too. And I will also, there's very little grease on here. There is some black grease on there. Just not a whole lot. So what I will do is remove the slipper now. It is metal gears in here, although it is a plastic spur gear, which is pretty common in a lot of trucks. So it's slip it. There we go. All right, so I'm going to just take these off and kind of keep all the pieces the way that they're coming off in that order so that I put them back on the right way. The main thing is to make sure you get this pin and keep it somewhere you don't lose it. Because if you don't see it and it comes out for whatever reason, you'll be up a creek if you don't have that. But this allows you to then pull out the last gear, and it has a pin as well, holding it down. So keep all of that together. And I've got it just kind of over here to the side. And the last thing is we've got to take this piece. You can see there's a little spot there where it needs to move over. So we got to unscrew it, move it over, and screw it back in. I like to do it this way because then that post is there for me to put the gear back onto. If you try and do it the other way, then you're trying to slide it on. It's just not as easy. So I think you want to install it this way first. So get everything out, get to here. It's really not that bad. So this is our 2.5 again. And it will spin freely if you're not careful. Actually, this one didn't. I can just hold it by hand. Sometimes you need to use pliers or whatever to hold this because it's spinning, but I didn't have that luck. So you can see in here, it's like a little figure 8 down there at the back. And I just need to slide this closer to the, I guess it's the gear or the shaft for the slipper. And so once we do that, then we just put the screw back in that we took out. We should Loctite this. Not going to cut corners on Jeremy's. That wouldn't be very friend-like of me. Although I don't know where I have Loctite up here. I think it's all in the garage. Could super glue it for him. That would be not very friendly of me. How do I not have thread lock in here? I'll look at some comments while I grab some thread lock. RC Show Off, what's up? I think I have a container of stuff here. Oh, you know where I've got some thread lock? I know. Over on my other desk. How's it going? All right. Got my phone in a better place. Got some of this. I think it's for my axial build. All right. The right one. You guys can tell him I did him right. I didn't do him wrong. So it looks like a lot going on here. It's really not bad. You're just changing over this one piece is all you're really working to do. So now that that's in, we can reassemble this gear and put in this pin again. Pin's going through. We'll hold it on. Slide it down into place. That's easy enough. What I do have, and I didn't have the Loctite, but I have some of my ProTech white gear grease, and I'm going to put some of this in here just to lube it up. I'm not going to worry too much about it because I will put it on the other gear that will then spread it. Spread it around. So now the smaller side is going to go down this time. Make sure bearings and everything are in here. There we go. Spin it around, work the grease in. And the last thing we're going to do is a little bead on this bearing. And I'm going to put a little on this gear as well before we put it in. Why not get my fingers nice and greasy today? That should be enough to work its way around. Not going to overdo it. Some people might think that's overdoing it. It's not a ton. You know what I did? I put this pin in the wrong one. There's a higher pin spot. That other pin was for the spur gear. Now we're cooking. There it is. Now this should seat on here right. Boom. So what we have to do is this little plastic piece has a nub on it, and that's now going to be flipped around. I'm going to throw a little dab of the blue Loctite on here again, because we're going into the middle. Post in there, and then we'll just finish that up. Boom. Feels good. Make sure I don't get any grease on my fingers now. And transfer that to that slipper pad. That's the one thing I got to be careful of and mindful of. Everything's got a little bit of magnetic force from the motor, it seems like. It's kind of grabbing on weird. All right, so be careful with this one. Slide it on. I'm going to actually use something else other than my fingers. Magnet. There we go. The outside of my finger to put it on. And then we'll apply this. Call it a job well done. That's what we'll call it. Springs, and then we'll just tighten this down all the way. And I'll back it off just the littlest bit. Give him a little slip, but not a lot. And you're pushing down on this to lock the gear so it's not spinning, so that it will tighten. There it goes. That's tight. I'm going to back it off a little bit. Not a lot. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this for him. I do have screws, but they're not here, so I'll have to add them into the back. But it's still accessible easily, so I'm just going to button it up for now, and then I'll add them. What do you guys think? Is that too hard to do to go to high gear? Or is that worth it? I think it's definitely worth it. When you guys see the speed difference, it's quite a bit better. Quite a bit better. Sean's RC Adventures is famous in his own head. He's famous in my head too. His fame precedes him. All right, so you're going to slip these in. They do have only one way they can go, so you can't get it wrong. They just push in. But before you put it onto the car, you do need to make sure that you put the drive shafts in because if you don't get them in as you assemble it, they will not fit. So you cannot screw this down until these are in, because you do have to work it a little bit. And it's really fun to try and do it on camera. I will tell you what. All right, so we'll wrap this up, guys. Do you have any more questions about this thing? Oh, that's my problem. Got it backwards. Ask away. I'll be looking in just a second and then wrapping up. It's exciting to me just to have a new product that's totally different coming to market. Definitely interesting car to me as well. So I like that about it, is that not only is it different, but I kind of like where they're going with this. There we go. Now we just have to screw this in. We're good to go. But that's a quick live change of the transmission. Wasn't too bad. The tank wants to do an after show party. That sounds good. That sounds good. You send the invite. I'll be there. So, where did that just drop you? There it is. That's what RC Sparks was saying, is what somebody just texted me and said that he was doing the swap is when they gave me a little shout out. So that's cool. Now you've seen it live here as well, how to do it. Motors plug back in. And Jeremy is hot to trot. I do need to add in those screws for him here. But I can get at that with my wrenches. So all of those are accessible for me with the rounded head MIPs. So we'll get him taken care of on that front. I just don't have any of my screw kit stuff upstairs here. J and K Noob says they just got back home with the Haas. Very cool. Very cool. I hope you have batteries that fit it. If not, you can make do. We made do with ours. And then I just got my Protex in today for it, so I could do that. I don't know that I'm going to, because it works quite well actually with the way it locks in now. It's a pretty strong lock-in. So that's a spare one from a monster truck. I got a whole bunch of parts and stuff for these CEN trucks to work with. I got this because of Aaron. E-clip tool. So excited about having that now. Those things are always a pain in the butt. So, you know what? Here's a couple screws. At least hook them up on the top. It's being held at the bottom. That's not a worry by the chassis. We'll at least get a couple screws in the top here for them. I got my little trail baggie of screws. This one will fit, as will one of the other ones in here. So that's good. We'll button up these two. And then I'll find something for the bottom ones. I have my screw loose kit, but it's still downstairs from Axial Fest. In one of my bins, I have to go through and still unpack some of my stuff. Got most of it unpacked, but not all of it yet. All right, there you go, Jeremy. A couple extra screws in there. You know what? I'm going to be that guy that's going to go ahead and take him right out of this other transmission for him with my rounded tipped, and we'll be able to put it right into the other holes for him. Just feeling like that's the right thing to do. All right, so there's one. These might be a little long. There it goes. Hold these up in here. One. And this will actually work too. Steve O.D., what's going on, my man? If you want to get it fired up, we'll wrap up here in just a minute. Get these in here. I'll head over to the computer and do a wrap. But I don't know about you guys, but it was first day of school for us here, our poor kids, doing that virtual learning stuff. And it was tough for them to have to sit at a computer that long and interact in that way. Definitely struggling with some of it. Instructions, and then they're doing their homework, but they're having to do it in a whole different way. They've never done it on the computers before in the way. So not only is it a new environment for getting instruction, but then doing the homework itself. But a little bit crazy. All right, there we go. Truck is done. High-speed gear installed. He's ready to rip it. All right, I'm gonna head back to the other section and change the microphone. All right, I'm back. Steve O.D. says Tony's a lucky guy. Had to do a lot of work for it. I've seen several videos, I'm sure. Countless hours went into. All right, so how are you liking the Haas J&K Noob? Have you got to drive it yet, or you literally just got home with it? I'm liking this thing, this CEN in the time that I've had with it. I've had a lot of fun. And yeah, it's pretty durable. I'll give it that. I mean, I wouldn't want to take it into curbs head on or anything like that. Just like any RC car, I wouldn't want to do that with. But I mean, I jumped it and beat it up and a whole lot of things. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. RC tanks and trucks. The trailer would look good behind it. Yeah, it would be cool to try and hook up one of these trailers to it, like a semi-trailer. Steve-O, it's your birthday, man. Happy birthday. Oh. Is it your birthday, man? I'm scrolling up. I missed a lot when I was working. What's up, Innovation RC? If you're still here, that was a while ago. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. It was super cool to be able to work with CEN on doing the unveil of these trucks today. And, you know, it's always an honor to be included in kind of something like that. And it does, make it a little tricky with RC Conspiracies because on that whole front end side, I didn't have it. I didn't know anything about it. But then there came that point where, we hadn't even talked about it for a while, so it wasn't news. And then getting involved with it. And yeah, so there's a few where I'm part of the conspiracy. It's going to be that way. It just is what it is. And most of the time I'm not, and I'm just with you guys totally fanboying. And I think this is twice now where I kind of have been part of the conspiracy, and all this recent stuff I've had no clue about. So they got me. But this one was pretty cool, and I'm pretty pumped about these trucks and what to do with them next. So I don't know if I'm going to do the puller next. I might wait on that while I wait to figure out how to connect the puller and see what other people are doing. I might go ahead and throw down, try and make it a drag car. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do first while I still have to get the whole puller ready. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming in again. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully there's some more conspiracies coming. We're getting that. We've rounded that halfway point of the year. We're heading towards Christmas. A little too soon in some cases with stuff being out for it, but that's where it's heading. And the companies are trying to get some new stuff out for us for Christmas, for the holidays. And yeah, I think it's just going to get nuts from here on out. So I think there'll be some conspiracies coming for us. I don't know what they are. I think that there was a little tease that came out from Arma the other day on Facebook. Some people screenshotted with another EXB model. So that's something to look forward to. And hopefully they'll have more of those EXB diffs coming out and the parts for them, the shims and all that. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have fun RCing as always, and we will catch you next time. But make sure you tune in to the Tank Thursday night. Harley's on Friday night. We've got RC Basher Boy. Saturday, Steve O.D. is Friday nights. Again, he's been regular with that again. So be sure to check that out Friday nights. Monday nights is 11 Charlie. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of content going on. I know Earl's got one. I think he does on Sunday. There's a lot. So you definitely have live stuff to keep up with. RC Guy Garage does a lot of morning stuff, COVID and coffee. And I'm really enjoying the live atmosphere of videos these days. And so tune into him, guys. Have fun. We'll meet you in the comments. See ya.